Hi everyone. Today I'm going to read the story, The Gift of the Tree. The Gift of the Tree is written by Alvin Tresselt and the pictures are by Henry Sorensen. Before I start reading, I just want to go over a few vocabulary words that will help you understand what I'm reading. So let's start with this word. This is the word alive. When something is alive, it is growing, moving, and eating. Alive. Right. And the next word is dead. This is a dead branch or a dead tree. When something is dead, it is not alive anymore. It is not growing or moving or eating. The next word is decay. You might see a log that's kind of breaking apart there. Decay means to break down and turn into soil or dirt. Remember that lesson Miss Gass did with us? She told us about soil or dirt. It's decay. Right. The next one is gift. And a gift is a present. It's something you give to someone else or something else. Right. Next is nourish. Okay, nourish, when you nourish somebody or something, it's giving food to that living thing. So nourish, giving food to a living thing. Okay, and next is rot. You can see those blueberries don't look very good. It kind of reminds me of decay, and it kind of sounds like it because it's after a living thing dies, it breaks down and turns into soil, which is very similar to decay. And last, sprout. Okay, sprout can be used two ways. This actual thing can be a sprout, which is a small plant just growing. And when something sprouts, like a verb, meaning something is happening or being done, it pops out of the earth, it begins to grow. So you can use sprout two ways. All right. So those are our words. I'm going to come a little bit closer on those for you for a second. Okay. Oh, maybe two. All right, so we have, try to remember these words, alive, dead, decay, gift, nourish, rot, and sprout. And now I'm going to begin reading the story to you. The Gift of the Tree by Alvin Tresselt. Illustrated by Henry Sorensen. See some birds on a branch of a tree. Log here. Okay. It stood tall in the forest. For 100 years or more, the oak tree had grown and spread its shade. Birds nested in its shelter, squirrels made their homes in ragged bundles of sticks and leaves held high in the branches, and in the fall they garnered their winter food from the rich rain of acorns that fell from the tree. Tucked under its gnarled roots, small creatures found safety from the fox and owl. Slowly, slowly, over the years, the forest soil increased as the brown, leathery leaves, shaken down by the autumn winds, moldered under the snow. But even as the tree grew, life gnawed at its heart. Carpenter ants tunneled through the strength of the oak. Termites ate out passageways in wondrous patterns. A broken limb let the dusty spores of fungus enter the heartwood of the tree, and rot spread inside the healthy bark. Year by year, the tree grew weaker as its enemies worked. Each spring, fewer leaves unfolded, and its great reaching branches turned gray with death. Woodpeckers peppered the limbs with holes, looking for the tasty grubs and beetles that had tunneled the wood. And here and there, they dug bigger holes to hold their babies. In winter storms, one by one, the great branches broke and crashed to the floor of the forest, until there remained only the proud trunk, holding its broken arms up to the sky. Now it was autumn, and the days were long and lazy, yellow, gray, and misty mornings, middays filled with fall summer warmth, and nights pierced with frost. Then came a day of hurricane wind and slashing rain, and as the fierce wind shrieked through the forest, the tree trunk split and crashed to the ground. There it lay, shattered, with only a jagged stump to mark where it had stood for so long. That's the stump. The cruel days of winter followed. A family of deer mice settled into a hole that had once held an arching branch. A rabbit found protection from the biting wind in the rotted center of the trunk. And the ants and termites and the dormant grubs and the silent fungus waited out the winter weather under the bark and deep in the wood. In the spring, the young sun warmed the forest floor, and the acorns sprouted to replace the fallen giant. Now new life took over the dead tree. Old woodpecker holes made snug homes for chipmunks. The hollow center of the trunk sheltered a family of raccoons, while beneath the bark spread the wood-eating fungus, ghost white and sulfur yellow, and deep inside the carpenter ants and termites continued their digging and eating. On the trunk, where the tree lay half buried in the damp and musty leaf loam, the mosses stitched a green carpet softer than the softest wool. Fragile ferns nestled in its shadow, and mushrooms popped out of the decaying mold, and clumps of creamy white Indian pipes clustered together, drawing nourishment from the rich loam. That's the decayed fog. The years passed, and the hardwood grew soft and punky. It crawled with 100,000 grubs and beetles, centipedes with their scrambling, scurrying legs, and snails and slugs, all fed on the rotting wood, and earthworms made their way through the feast, helping to turn the tree once more into earth. Pale shell fungus clung to the sides like clusters of giant clamshells, eating away and growing as the tree decayed. A skunk came waddling by with her string of babies. Sniffing at the wood, she ripped into its softness with her claws to uncover the scrambling life inside, and eagerly the family feasted. Secretive forest birds scratched and picked for grubs and worms, pulling the tree apart bit by bit, while the melting winter snows and soft spring rains hastened the rotting of the wood. And in this way, as new trees grew in strength from acorns that had fallen long years ago, the great oak returned to the earth. On the ground there remained only a brown ghost of rich alone where the proud tree had come to rest. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story. I like this story a lot. And I think you could see how the title, The Gift of the Tree, is very fitting for a tree. And that it gives animals all kinds of things, from homes to shelter to nutrients, giving back to the soil and other plants in the forest. So think about that next time you look at a tree, about all the gifts it brings to the world. Have a nice afternoon.